March of 1970, my best friend Mike had a paper route that he wanted to dump. And it was a dream paper route. It was all apartments, all bang on each other. And it was like, there's no snow, there's no rain, there's no hail, there's no nasty, shitty dogs, there's none of that. You just go into one building, you go in the next, you go in the next, and you're done. And the very last paper I would deliver would be ultimately to the abuser's door. But being that time and age, we were taught to respect our elders, things like that. You do as you're told by somebody who's older and wiser and lives in a nice neighborhood and all that sort of crud. Anyway, Mike introduced me to the abuser, who was very interested in me and very gracious, polite, nothing but nice, had nothing untoward in the way of alerts going on or anything like that. Classic grooming, but he, within a week of my taking over the route, he phoned up the Toronto Telegram saying his paper was being stolen. And so would that nice new paper boy please knock on his door when he delivered the newspaper?
Wow.
Yeah, like just fucking classic. And so that's what I had to do. And so I'd have to knock on the door and hand him the newspaper. And as time went on, invitations to come into the apartment. It's the end of the route, last paper, would you like to have a pop? And within a week or so, probably, my favorite pop started to appear. And then some favorite sweets and treats, and he was like a grandfather type character. And he would bring all these things that I enjoyed in life. I enjoyed classical music very much, as did he. And sometimes at the end of the route, I would stay for a while. And we'd listen to some music, or we'd have a debate about something. And he taught me how to play cribbage, and I got to be pretty good at it. And I remember going to this place in his apartment where he kept his cribbage board. He had a bachelor apartment. So it was one big room with a sort of a dressing room and a bathroom and a kitchen. And I went to the cupboard and I went to get the cribbage board, and there was a small magazine, sort of about the size of a playbill magazine like you get at the theater. Yep. It's not 8.5 by 11, but it's the fold over, so it's about half the size. And it had black and white pornography in it. At this point, I'm 13 and the hormones are raging, and who doesn't respond to that sort of stuff? And he made some moves to fondle and stuff like that. And it would just progress. And I was frozen solid. No idea what's going on, either with him or with me, or the whole scenario. And I'd leave his apartment wondering what the hell just happened. And he had ingratiated himself in my life so much that my parents actually invited him to dinner. And he went to dinner at my parents' house. And he would invite me to spend the night. In the early 70s, we had a brand new TV station called City TV. And they started to air what was then called the Baby Blue movie. And it was very bad, B-grade, dirty movies, usually from Switzerland, or not Switzerland, Sweden. But it was nothing really hardcore. It was just the idea, the background behind it. And he asked if I would like to spend the night and therefore watch the Baby Blue movie. And I'm thinking, sure, why not? And it was really weird. He had a bed, which was a single bed on one wall. And the bed that I was sleeping in was a double fold-out couch. And after the movie, and I'm in bed by myself, all of a sudden there's somebody else in there too. And I was sort of revved up, if you know what I mean, from the movie, and he did things to me, and I ended up having to do things to him. And that went on for 2 years, and then it stopped. And when I try and think about the how often or the why did it stop, I'm not really clear. I think as I've learned and read and done more clinical assessment of what was done to me, I'm thinking, okay, this was a hebephile, not a pedophile who's going after young kids. This is a person who likes early adolescent boys. And by the time I was 16, and I'm only saying that because I know by then it had stopped. And when I was 16, I was in Europe for the summertime, and I was studying. And when I came back, I know absolutely for sure nothing happened after that.